Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back to Podcastage. This is my review of the brand new Shure Nexadyne 8C Cardioid handheld dynamic mic. This thing costs about $300. I did buy it with my own money. If you want to check it out, I'll throw links in the description down below. All of my recording settings will be listed in the doobly-doo as well as the description. And now let's talk about what comes in the box. Hey, you're going to get a storage box. You'll of course get the microphone, a microphone clip, a 5/8 to 3/8 inch microphone stand adapter, and a little bit of documentation. Then as far as the build quality, just like most Shure microphones, this thing feels fantastic. It has an all-metal body which feels great, a metal mesh grill with no give to it. As we go around the mic, there are no buttons or switches. On the bottom, you have the XLR port. My specific mic was made in Mexico, and just in case you want to see their new capsule, here is what it looks like. There are ports on the side, and it has this entire rubber mount. Looks really good. Then as far as the specs, this has a cardioid polar pattern, a frequency response of 50 Hz to 20 kHz, an impedance of 300 ohms, and a sensitivity of -54 dBV. Now I am spinning the Nexadyne around at 90 degrees to show you the off-axis rejection and coloration. Continuing around to 180 degrees, this is the rear-ish area of the microphone. Continuing around to the second 90-degree angle, there we are, and then rotating and ending back at the front of the mic. Now let's see how this thing handles plosive rejection. Please provide pizza pronto. Please provide pizza pronto. Please prepare pizza pronto, pals. And now what about with my lips on the grill? Please provide pizza pronto. Please provide pizza pronto. Please prepare and provide pizza pronto, pals. Now I am right on top of the microphone to exaggerate the proximity effect, and here is how it sounds. Now about 3 inches off of the mic with it pointed at the corner of my mouth, and here's how it sounds. Now I am 1 foot away from the microphone, about 2 feet away from the 8C, and about 4 feet away from the Shure Nexadyne 8C. Now I'm typing on a keyboard with Gatoron blue switches to see how much of my voice versus how much of the keyboard it picks up. And for the gamers, now I'm typing on the SAD W and spacebar keys. Now here is how the microphone sounds 3 inches away from my mouth in a relatively well-treated room. And now here is how the microphone sounds about 3 inches away from my mouth in a completely untreated room. Next, let's see how effective the microphone is at rejecting shock. So I'll start by tapping on my desk to see if it can reject that. And then I will tap on the boom arm. What do you say I tap on this microphone and see if there are any kind of resonant frequencies? Also, because this is a handheld microphone, I need to see how much handling noise it's actually able to reject. There you go. I don't really recommend doing this, but just to be thorough, I am going to cup the grill of the microphone so you can see how the frequency response is impacted. Here is how it sounds without the grill impeded by my hand. And then when I encapsulate the capsule again, here is how it sounds. Pretty rough. Now let's compare this microphone to a bunch of other handheld mics. This is the Shure Nexadyne 8C, 3 inches off, gain set at 4 o'clock on the 18i 22nd gen. Let's hear the first mic. First up, we have the handheld dynamic, the Shure SM58, 3 inches off, gain still set at 4 o'clock. This microphone costs about $100. That is enough talking on this. Y'all have heard this about 1 million times. Let's move on. Back on the Nexadyne 8C for a palate cleanser. Here's how it sounds. Let's move on. Now I am on the Sennheiser E835, 3 inches off, gain at 4 o'clock. Check the lower third to see how much I boost each of these in post. This microphone also costs about $100. Let's move on. This is the Nexadyne 8C again at the exact same distance. Let's hear another mic. Next, I am on the SE Electronics V7, 3 inches off, gain set at 4 o'clock. This microphone costs about $100. I really like how this sounds. That is enough of a sample. Let's do some more of these. Hey, I'm back on the Nexadyne 8C again because it's a palate cleanser. That's enough. Let's do more. Now I am on the Earthworks SR117, 3 inches off, gain still set at 4 o'clock. This microphone costs about $200, and it is also a handheld condenser microphone. That is enough of this sample. I am living dangerously because this is so much louder than the dynamics. Let's move on quickly. Back on the Shure Nexadyne 8C, here is how it sounds. That's enough. Let's go to the next mic. Now I am on a Cardioid version of the Telefunken M80, 3 inches off, gain still set at 4 o'clock. This microphone costs about $250, and this is an older version of the microphone, but there you go, that's the M80. Let's move on. Back on the 8C again, we are over the hump of this comparison section. That's enough. Let's hear some more microphones. Now I am on the Electro Voice RE520, 3 inches off, gain still set at 4 o'clock, which is very dangerous. This microphone costs about $320, and it is a handheld condenser. That is enough of a sample. Let's do 4 more, I think. Here is yet another palate cleanser on the Shure Nexadyne 8C. That is enough talking. Let's move on. Now I am on the Shure Dualdyne KSM8, 3 inches off, gain still set at 4 o'clock. This microphone costs about $400, and here's how it sounds compared to its newer, younger brother, I suppose you could call it. Here is yet another palate cleanser on the Nexadyne 8C. Let's go to the third to last microphone before I lose my mind. Now I am on the Beyerdynamic M88, 3 inches off, gain still set at 4 o'clock. I believe this was Phil Collins' microphone, and it costs about $500. Here is how it sounds compared to the Shure. Let's do a few more. All right, here is your penultimate palate cleanser on the Shure Nexadyne 8C. That is enough. Let's go to that mic right now. Next, I am on the Neumann KSM105, 3 inches off, gain still set at 4 o'clock. This 4 o'clock gain setting with condensers is, it's a bold choice. This microphone costs about $730, so quite a bit more than the Shure, and here is how it sounds compared to that microphone. Let's go back to it and do one final comparison. And here is your final palate cleanser on the Shure Nexadyne 8C. That is enough talking. Let's jump to the last microphone right now. I am on the Neumann U87 Ai. I am on the Cardioid pattern, no pad, no filters, 3 inches off, gain at 11 o'clock because I am not a psychopath. Here's what it would sound like if my gain was still at 4 o'clock.
Now I am on the Neumann U87 Ai.
I know some of you actually enjoyed how that sounded because you're a little sick in the head, but this microphone costs $3,750. So this is a fair comparison, and it is certainly not included to be a control from video to video. Let's go ahead and do the music test now. okay? And will it resolve like we need? And with my lips on the grill, how does this sound? Does it sound alright to you? That's new. I haven't done that before, but if you're buying this mic, chances are when you're singing into it, your lips will be on the grill, so may as well include that sample as well. Hopefully that was helpful. Let's go to the conclusion. Hello, and welcome to the conclusion section of this video. I think that the Nexadyne 8C is a microphone that was made for a very specific use case. And first up, as far as pros, the build quality of this mic feels fantastic. It feels really robust and durable. I also found the off-axis coloration on this thing to be pretty decent and inoffensive. And as far as the low-cut filter on this thing, I think it makes the mic sound so much better when you're close micing it. And then as far as cons, when you're using this microphone at a distance, even as little as 3 inches away, I find that boost in the upper mids and treble frequencies to be quite unappealing. Also, although it doesn't ring like a bell, I did still hear a little bit of a resonant frequency. And that leads me to the last con of this microphone. I found that the handling noise rejection on this thing really wasn't the best. If you rub your hand on this, that's pretty brutal. So that is not the best thing to have on a handheld microphone. And now, what are my overall thoughts and opinions of the Shure Nexadyne 8C? As far as the overall sound, I would say this has more of a rolled-off low end, which gives you a very controlled sound. Then you get an upper mid focus on this thing, and then you also get a treble boost as well. But then when we get to the air frequencies, it tames those off quite a bit. On the electric guitar, I think it worked all right. I like the controlled low end, but I thought the upper frequency boost was a little bit unflattering, especially when I got to the upper register of the electric. On the acoustic guitar, it's fine, but far from great. You get that upper mid focus, which is not the most flattering on acoustic, and it also lacks a lot of those air frequencies, which is something that I look for that instrument. For singing vocals, that is my favorite application for this microphone, especially when you close mic it. You just get this really nice and punchy sound, and I think that roll-off and the air frequencies is going to be beneficial on stage because it's going to eliminate the amount of cymbals that make it into your microphone, which I have learned can be a complete and utter nightmare. And finally, for spoken word, you get that rolled off and controlled low end, which can be nice because it makes it so clear sounding, but then you get this really dominant upper midsection, which I don't find to be the most flattering, especially if the spoken word isn't competing with anything and it is soloed. And to wrap up, would I recommend the Shure Nexadyne 8C? Both yes and no. Let's start with the no. If you are recording podcasts or spoken word at home and you use your microphone more than 1 or 2 inches away from your mouth, I am leaning towards no because I think that upper frequency boost in the upper mids and treble range is quite unflattering at a distance. And at a distance of 3 inches, I think I preferred every microphone I compared it against to this. However, for stage use where your lips will be on the grill of the microphone, I think that's where this thing really starts to shine. That low frequency cut and that big upper mid and treble boost really start to make a lot more sense. And when you are this close to the microphone, I think it sounds a lot more natural than some of the competitors when your lips are on the grill. The only one that I think competes with it in that regard is the Sennheiser E835, which is another mic that I really don't like at any kind of distance. So for an application where the mic is going to be right on your lips, I think that's where the 8C really starts to sound good. And if you prefer the sound of this over the 835, I say go for it. Maybe just don't handhold this thing, or if you do handhold it, be careful and certainly don't rub on it. Don't do that.